AEW Wrestle Dream in the books, sort of shaking the foundation of AEW with the new world champion. Well, look at that. It's like an earth. Is there an earthquake over in your part of the town?
No earthquake. Tectonic plates are fine. No divergence or convergence.
Look at you with the seismic vocabulary. Anyway, sorry. Talk about AEW champions. And we're going to talk today about who is going to dethrone them. Now, you take a look at the landscape AEW. Some of these might come off as a little bit on the obvious side, but some of them, I don't know. I was looking at these and I was like, I don't even know who's in a trio anymore, so I got to come up with something.
Yeah, no, that was tough.
That was kind of tough. I did put an answer. But it seems like right now, if I'm not mistaken, pretty much every championship is held by a Rudo Larson, a bad guy, if you will.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
Yeah. So there's got to be a shift at some point to the good guys because that end of Wrestle Dream was a big fat bummer. So we're going to go ahead and do this right now.
Yeah.
We're going to see who's going to dethrone everybody. We're just going to start with the top title.
Sure, let's do that.
Start with the AEW World Title right now held by Super Mox and
Mean Mox.
Mean Mox. So it's Larson, why don't you go ahead and start? Let me ask you this.
Uh-huh.
Who do you think is going to, and do you have a different answer for who you'd like to see get that title?
Well, I think it's pretty clear that Darby Allin is going to beat Mox for that title.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of Wrestle Dream when Medical was attending to Bryan Danielson after getting destroyed by Blackpool Combat Club, it kept cutting.
Yeah.
Production kept cutting to Darby, and Orange Cassidy was there too, but I think the focus was supposed to be squarely on Darby Allin reacting.
Oh yeah. Well, they did the thing where they put the duct tape on him and they just put a bunch of water on him.
Yeah, that too.
And stuff.
So
yeah.
So he seems next in line, the one to beat Mox. Of course, he lost to Mox to lose his title opportunity against Bryan Danielson.
Uh-huh.
And I don't think Darby's necessarily a bad choice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Especially given how they're framing this story. That being said, if it were up to me,
yeah,
I could think of a number of people that I would probably put the world title on before Darby.
Mm-hmm.
And they just don't, at this moment, haven't been inserted into the story yet.
Who would be your top pick if Tony Khan was like, hey, Larson, I want you to be my secret brain trust. I'll give you a crisp $100 bill. Give me, what's your top name? Because I've got one that I'm stealing from somebody else, but I want to hear yours first.
I mean, my top name would be Hangman Adam Page. I think from a character perspective, he's doing some of, if not the best work in the entire company.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how you get there, given that he's heel now. Mox, obviously heel.
Yeah.
But you put the title on him, and then we get a title program with Hangman and Swerve, and I think that'd be fantastic.
Dude, I'm right there with you. I saw this tweet from one of our friendos, Alyssa. She tweets a lot about wrestling on the Twitter, but why Alyssa? And she said how cool it'd be if it was Hangman Adam Page. And that's one that I hadn't really considered all that much because of what you just said. Mox is bad guy. But how amazing would it be? Because you see that last shot with Darby. Orange Cassidy was getting glazed up by Jerry Lynn earlier in the episode.
Yeah.
And he's been an AEW Day One guy. Wildly popular. His, YouTube videos for a while were like AEW's most popular ones. It might still be, I'm not sure. But I think that'd be a good option. You got Garcia there, kind of and Hook, kind of the future of AEW, good guys as well. Mm-hmm. But you look at Hangman Adam Page, number one, he's always been the main character of AEW, right? Yeah. Number two, talk about least likely. You got this absolute maniac, this deranged psychopath, basically at this point, who literally just lost to Jay White. What if Mox goes through? You think it's going to be Darby, right? No. Mox goes, he just chews through everybody because he's Super Mox at this point.
Yeah.
And so they have to kind of rely on Hangman, who doesn't give a shit about the honor of the company. Because all these guys are trying to fight for the future and the soul of AEW. Hangman doesn't care about that. What does he care about? Making sure Swerve doesn't get it. Yeah. and so he's looking at Swerve as oh, this is going to be the guy to save the soul of AEW after he's gone through a brutal Bobby Lashley feud, right?
Yeah.
Coming out, barely squeaking out of the surviving that feud. And so Hangman's I got to scoop this guy. And just purely out of selfish ass reasons. And he wins it. and everybody comes out and they hoist him up, and he's like, could you imagine the havoc that would wreak with Hangman and his ego and just how fragile it is? And he's this madman that all of a sudden everybody loves, and he's got to deal now with not everybody hating him, but love and what that comes with. Oh, the stories they could tell with that run. Good guy, bad guy, well, he's just a crazy guy, you know?
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
It is. And Hangman's thing throughout has been his own insecurities.
Yeah.
That's what drives him.
Yeah.
And Mox's thing, we saw it with Private Party, where he says, hey, you've been with the company 5 years. You're in the same spot. Mm-hmm. Why is that?
Yeah.
And granted, Hangman's a former world champion, but the idea that if Mox puts it out there, and maybe it strikes a chord with Hangman, that still, despite that, he hasn't lived up to his own potential.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, there's another avenue you can take to get there, as well as just kind of denying Swerve another title opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot that you could do with that, and he has always been the main character of AEW. Mm-hmm. And to take this iteration of Hangman as being the guy who saves AEW, that could be fucking wild.
It could.
That could be so much fun. So
it could.
I don't know. That would be the guy that I would put in there, because I saw this tweet from Melissa and I was like, oh, that's a good idea. That's a really good one. So, anyways, what's next?
Let's talk the Women's World Championship, currently held by Mariah May. Steve, who do you think is next?
I think it's
who
probably
want
to
be next.
I think it's probably gonna be, and I think it probably should be Toni Storm. That's probably, she suffered a huge loss. She's off in Japan doing some stuff right now. And I could totally see I think they probably do like a Mariah May, Mina Shirakawa thing where Mariah turns on Mina and then, beats her, and then Toni comes back and avenges that and, gets it back. Toni, I think, is the kind of person who's still, when she comes back, she's going to be huge again. And people are waiting for that. So yeah, I think it should be, and I think it's going to be Toni Storm.
Yeah, I agree there. So they have a All-In show scheduled for, I think, February in Australia. And I would imagine that's where Toni would probably win it back.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's the show that people are like, oh, the tickets aren't selling because they put it in like a weird place at a weird time or whatever like that.
Yeah.
All right. What about the TNT title? Currently held, of course, by the Scapegoat, Jack Perry, the Scapegoat Mobile. Danny Garcia seems to want a chunk of that TNT title. Kind of feels like the dude just re-signed. He is where the best wrestle. So my opinion, I think it is going to be Garcia, and I think it should be Garcia. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I agree with that. If they want to establish Daniel Garcia as one of the foundational pieces for the future of AEW, they got to put a title on him soon to signify that. If he's going to be in the core group that are kind of taking on Blackpool Combat Club, along with Cassidy, Orange Cassidy, Hook, Darby Allin, at some point during this story, I feel like they all got to have titles.
Mm-hmm, yeah, I agree.
To signify, there's the power balance is being disrupted away from Blackpool Combat Club to, the cornerstones of AEW's future. So yeah, Daniel Garcia, next TNT champ.
Let's talk about this. I've proffered this theory plenty of times. I want to hear what you have to say about it. Sure. Talking about Okada's Continental Championship.
Yeah.
They teased a thing with Takeshita before they pivoted to Takeshita Ospreay. I still think the idea of Takeshita winning the C2 Continental Classic and then beating Okada and fusing the continents together and the international
new Pangea title, perhaps.
Yes, the new Pangea title, exactly. You fuse them together, and then he's the guy that beats Okada, and he was the guy that took that title off of Ospreay. Granted, it was a triple threat, and there was screwdrivers
he pinned Ospreay to win it. So
he did. That's true. He did. But yeah, that's what I'd like to see happen. I could kind of see it happening as well because the titles do kind of feel a bit on the redundant side. So I think that might be a possibility.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Takeshita should and probably will be the next Continental Champion. So if the idea is they have the tournament, Okada's in it, and that's his way of defending the title, but whoever wins the tournament is the new champion. That's my understanding, right? If you win the tournament, then you get a shot against Okada. They haven't done it yet this way, so I don't know.
This is only going to be the second one. The first one was to win the title, so they haven't announced it. My guess is the tournament's going to be a defense of the title. It's going to be an actual, like, whoever wins if Okada.
If we have the last title to go on, Eddie put his 2 other belts on the line.
Yeah, right.
During the tournament, so Okada will be in it. He'll I would assume, put his title on the line. Whoever wins the tournament's new Continental Champion. I
feel like they're going to do that, and it's going to be it. Look, Okada's going to be in the finals of this thing. I feel like they'll probably say, "Oh, if Okada loses, if Okada is mathematically disqualified at any point, we're going to have a new champion. He's going to have to vacate." But that won't come to that because he'll end up going to the finals.
Yeah,
facing Takeshita, 2 bad guys, which would be kind of interesting. And then, I mean, this could be the way they get to Ospreay versus Okada.
Yeah.
That's a possibility as well. Probably a strong possibility. But yeah, I don't know. That's what I'd like to see. I could see the Ospreay thing too.
Or another possibility, if Kenny Omega's due to come back before the end of the year.
Yeah.
He could be in the tournament. You get Okada, Kenny.
That's a possibility as well. Yeah. I think there's a couple different routes they can go. So now let's talk about, this one's a little trickier. Takeshita did just win, as we just mentioned, by pinning Ospreay, the International Championship. Who's going to dethrone Takeshita for whatever it is he's going to end up having? A fused Pangea title, simply the International title? Who do you think's going to be the guy to beat Takeshita? Might be a while.
It could be a while. I mentioned Kenny Omega earlier. He took 2 L's to Takeshita.
Oh, good point.
It feels like forever ago. I think it was just last year. If he comes back, gets involved in a couple stories, eventually gets another story, assuming Takeshita, especially if he's still with Don Callis. And then, have Kenny beat Takeshita. Have them trade title or Pangea titles back and forth a couple times.
Yeah, I could see that being the case. I'm going to go with this name here because it's a guy who, in his entire career, in his entire run at AEW, seemed to only value one thing, and that's the international title during his time with it. I'm talking about Orange Cassidy. We had mentioned earlier that, the between Jerry Lynn talking him up and then the camera focusing on him and Darby prominently in that last shot of Wrestle Dream, maybe that dude has got to get some piece of the bad guy's gold. So I could see Orange Cassidy, his history with the title, plus him being a good guy, and sometimes they like to stick to the good guy, bad guy thing. I could see Orange Cassidy being the guy to eventually dethrone Takeshita. So that's the name that I went with.
All right, good choice. Let's talk the TBS Championship, currently held by Mercedes Moné. Who do you think is going to be next, and who should be next, Steve?
Man, I feel like it's going to be Willow. Feel like it should be Willow. I wouldn't rule out Camille, but I feel like that might come after Mercedes drops the title. She blames Camille for not doing her job, losing that title to Willow. But I wouldn't put it against them if they did like a Wardlow MJF type thing, where Camille ended up actually dethroning Mercedes Moné. But I think it's going to be Willow, and I kind of feel like it totally should be Willow. She's great.
Yeah, I agree on both those. It should be, and it probably will be Willow. Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Let's go to the tag team division. Of course, Private Party just lost to the Young Bucks. A lot of people were like, that probably shouldn't have happened. I'm with them, and I'm going to say that AEW is going to listen and actually book Private Party to dethrone the Young Bucks. That's my guess on that one, and it's also my guess, or it's also who I think should beat the Young Bucks.
Look at us again.
Hey, Kotcher is aligned like Bones and Spock.
I have here Private Party.
Remember. Yeah, man. Absolutely. All right. This one's tough. This is one we're ending on. The Trios titles, I think, held by the Blackpool Combat Club right now.
Yeah, it's Pac, it's Claudio, and Wheeler Yuta.
Right, the MWO. What did you put?
This is what I put. I got Hook.
Okay.
I got Orange Cassidy.
Okay.
And then I got Daniel Garcia.
All
but
right.
if Team AEW expands their ranks, it could be none other than Daniel Garcia if he's going after that TNT title.
Yeah,
that's
that
kind of
makes
like
a
the
ton of
first
sense.
win for Team AEW over Blackpool Combat Clubs. They take those trios titles from.
Okay, that makes a ton of sense. Much more sense than mine. It's a trio that I think is actually falling apart right now. It's Top Flight. They got to do something with them Top Flight guys, but right now, Action Andrade seems to be not flight.
Yeah.
He's going to flight out of there.
He is.
So, yeah, because that's literally the only trios that I could actually think of. I know House of Black is a thing, but, like, not really anymore.
Not really. I mean, here's a possibility. I don't know if MVP is going to wrestle, but MVP, Shelton, and Lashley.
Well, I think Leo Rush got approached by them.
Yeah, and he just signed a new deal with AEW. So
yeah, and I think, am I wrong about that? I thought somebody said something about MVP approached Leo Rush during his interview.
Oh, maybe.
And gave him a card, which would be fucking awesome.
That'd be great.
Yeah, that would be sick. That'd be really cool. But yeah, so there you go. Let us know in the comments below who you think should dethrone everybody in AEW. Hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, notify bell. We'll see you guys around.
No, up.
Oh, up. Sorry.